It's been probably a month since I put a video up. Last time was when we did the first start on Dearborn Granny. Been busy around here, but not with much. It's been busy around here, but not much with this kind of stuff. It's been busy with those incessant and continuous diversions. I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, I did do a couple of little things on the Dearborn Granny. I made the little linkage thing there to give us a little throttle when we go to start it. See, it's got 3 notches on it, and then obviously if you take it off the notches, it does its normal. It does. I'm sorry you couldn't see that. If you take it off the notches, it goes to its normal, idle position. With it on the notch, it starts right up. I mean, it gives you a little throttle when you go to start it. Remember, these cars had, well, if you're sitting in the car, you got 1 foot on the gas pedal. You can put 1 foot on, or start the car with 1 foot and use that same foot to give it a little throttle. Or there's a hand throttle on the Model A. So, you like I say, there you got a choke you got to do. There's a hand throttle. There's obviously a pedal, regular gas pedal. There's ignition timing lever that you got to control. So starting these things up, if they don't run good, starting them up is a bit of a chore. You got to do a bunch of things all at once. But at any rate, I did that. Tightened the pivot up on the Advance, this thing, so that now when you put it where you put it, it stays there. The vibration doesn't move it. Started it up 2 or 3 times, torqued the head 2 more times during those startups. Scott is in the middle of updating his kitchen, so that's another thing that we haven't been working on this at all, because like I said, he's in the middle of updating his kitchen with new countertops, some new backsplash tile, new paint, new appliances, eventually new floor. Well, refinish the floor, but I don't think he's going to do that immediately. But anyway, he's in the middle of that. The countertops are done. All the the new sink and the plumbing and all that stuff's redone. The backsplash tile is up and the outlets are back in. I think the painter's going to be going this week or next week, because they've got natural cherry cabinets that they're going to paint white. Appliances are at the warehouse waiting. So, like I said, all of that means nothing's been happening on this. Okay? So I figured that's a good time to do my distractions. Kind of fits. We're gonna host a graduation party here, high school graduation party here, and I know everybody's going, wait a minute, it's the end of August. Yeah, that's true. My grandson graduated high school, whenever that happened, early June, I think. And as things go these days, him and 4 or 5 of his friends decided they were going to go to Ireland for a month, and they weren't doing that immediately. So we wanted to have a party, but that all got in the way. So he's been to Ireland for his month, and that didn't happen for like 3 weeks. And now junior college has started here already, so he's started in that. We're going to do a party here in September, which means, the place needs to get cleaned up. You know how that goes. The wife says, "Hey, I don't like the way all that firewood looks. See this firewood here? I'd like to screen that." And we had this old bamboo shade thing here that was on its last legs. So I made these gates, which is, like I say, one of the things I've been doing in the last month. I made these gates, which turned out to be a chore. It wasn't so bad building the frame and all of that stuff. I put the gates up, and they didn't meet together in the middle. I mean, it was like there was a twist. I don't know what you're seeing here. I'm trying to latch the gates. There was a twist in the frame. While they both showed damn near level on level. Uh, they were off enough that in the center there, when the top was hitting on one, it was like 3/4 of an inch hitting on the bottom and 3/4 of an inch open on the top. So, or the other way around, I don't remember which. Anyway, I had to play with that. I got it all done now, and painting it was a bit of a chore too, because I didn't get a sprayer out. I did it with a roller and a brush, and so you can imagine. Anyway, another thing I've been doing, well, first of all, that sunshade thing up there was all green because it's been sitting up there for a few years now, you know, in the winter and everything. So I let that down on one side and got the power washer out. Power washed it on both sides, actually. Let it hang one way and then turned it around and let it hang the other way, so I wasn't blasting against the house. But anyway, that was another little project. Here's the current project. I'll show you some before-after pictures of this. This is obviously the after. This bench is, ooh, I'm gonna guess, the kids gave us this bench for an anniversary, as I recall. Gotta be no less than 30 years ago. And it's made out of teak. So while it gets very nasty looking, it gets all covered in lichen, you know, so it's whatever colors the lichen is, you know, that light green and color. And that's how it was. Like I said, I'll show you a before picture. That's what it looked like. So got the power washer out again. Well, I had it out to do that thing. And you know, these days, when you use one of those machines, you got to run it dry on fuel, empty the tank, because you can't let the gas sit in it. And I thought, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity. While it's still got gas in it, I'll use it on the bench. So I did that. It took probably 3 hours to power wash this, all the lichen and stuff off the bench. It brings all the color right back on the teak. And today I oiled it. I had some Watco exterior oil, teak oil actually. I don't even remember where I got it. That's old too. And I put a little solvent in it. I put, you know, in 8 ounces of oil, I probably put 2 ounces of solvent, made it a little thinner so it soaks better. And anyway, I've done that. One of my diversions was, and obviously getting ready for people to be here, a bunch of people to be here, was the landscape lighting here in the front. Some of these fixtures weren't working. Like the little tulip fixtures there at the bottom of the stairs. I think one of those was out. There's a couple here at the end of the path in the front. One of those was out. There's a floodlight underneath that tree. That was out. There's a light over here in the middle of this little landscape area. That was out. Most of them, well, half of them were bad lamps and fixtures that quit. The light under the tree was a LED that quit working. This one here, the lamp was out. And it was kind of corroded. They're only 12 volts. The light at the bottom of the stairs, the socket was these. They're old too. Everything around here is old. The light at the bottom of the stairs, the socket wasn't pushing the contact against the globe. You know, they get dry inside and corroded inside. There's a little fiber washer in there and it catches inside the socket. So the little spring doesn't push the contact to the bulb. So I ended up having to take those up, remove them, and get into the socket, lubricate it with some WD-40, you know, all that stuff. I think 2 of those were like that. Anyway, that was another half a day's worth of work. See, this guy's been put back into service again. I don't know how the light's acting here. It's hard to tell on the lens. So he's a hanging rack, a drying rack for peppers, you know, and you see they turn red as they dry, and then you make sure they're nice and dry, including, I think you put them in the oven a bit on a really, really low heat, or almost, you know, you heat it first and turn it off, that kind of thing, till they're crispy, and then you grind them up and make red pepper flakes. So that's why we grow peppers here. We eat some of them this way, but mostly for grinding. But anyway, I need to get back to work on this too. That's something that I need to do. I want to do. This is going to be my next project. You saw that the 40 Ford came back home, but I'm selling that. If you know anybody that's looking for a two-door sedan in the Northern California area or anywhere you want, but looking for a two-door sedan, this is a nice car. It's a very, very solid car. Needs no patching, no patch panels anywhere. Anyway, what I need to do here is deal with these shocks. First thing I need to do, you see the springs are about, if you can see that, are about halfway up the adjustment, and the shock itself is mounted in, I think it's in the top hole. And so I think they're too short, bottom line. So I gotta get in here. I want to remove the bed. It might make it much easier to work. Right now I can't do anything. I can't even jack this up because that rack will hit the door. But I want to take at least one shock off and get all the particulars, how long it is extended, how long it is retracted, all that stuff. Figure out the spring rates. And I think I need longer shocks. So like I said, I want to get going on this. This guy here got a little attention too in the last month since I did a video. Did some tuning on it. I hadn't driven it now in quite a while, but Scott drove it 2 or 3 times and he said it seemed like it wasn't, it was like almost like it was hesitating. I don't think it was actually hesitating, but it just didn't seem right, he said. And I noticed, I moved it around here a little bit, and I noticed the air-fuel ratio gauge was sitting right at 17. When it idled, and even quite a few RPMs above idle, it would sit steady at 17. And I believe the reason for that, at least my diagnosis, the reason for that is that changed the distributor recently, and in the course of doing that, retarded the timing about 3 degrees. And I'm pretty sure that had an effect on the way the fuel's burning. So what I did is got all my Edelbrock parts out and the charts, and discovered that I could put the metering rods that came with this carburetor in, and that would lean it. No, that wouldn't lean it out. It would richen it just a tiny bit. They're like 3,000ths bigger than the ones that, smaller than the ones that were in there. Smaller going in the jet. The metering rod in the jet, the smaller the rod is, the more fuel goes through the hole, right? So I did that, and it seemed to respond nicely. So again, all these little things take time, and that's kind of what's been going on the last month. This, that, and the other. Mostly the other. That's about the only mechanic work I've done, other than a few little corrections on the engine stand, the run stand for the Dearborn Granny. So, like I said, there's always something later. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back. Well, I just spent 3 hours reorganizing this, making this space you see here for Mr. Green Jeans to come back home. You'll see, I'll show you that when that happens. It's going to happen on Saturday. Today is Thursday. I have a 40 Ford 2-door sedan. Obviously it's green, or used to be green when it was original. And for a long time it lived right here in this space. And I sent it over to a shop in Benicia. CT Hot Rods is the name of it. To do some work on it. It's been there now, I'm going to guess it's been there a couple of years probably. He hasn't been working on it steady that whole time. And things have changed recently, where he is closing that shop and more or less quitting that business, I think, other than, treating it as a hobby. It's gotten, between all the shortages, Um, the fact that most people these days, most kids these days, don't want to do that kind of stuff for a living. They don't mind doing it for a hobby. But it's hard to come up with people, in other words, to work in those environments anymore. No one's much interested when someone does take a job doing that stuff. Currently, for the most part, the attitudes are not right. There's no work ethic anymore. There's no common sense anymore. Like I said, there's no desire to be doing that kind of stuff. Everybody wants to go to college, become a genius, and get rich tomorrow. So that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, he's closing the shop. And the car is coming back here. The car is actually for sale. And again, I'll show you that when it gets here Saturday. The car is for sale because I'm at a point now where I'm too old to finish the projects, I think, that I already have. So I need to focus and decide which ones I'm going to spend my time on. And I've decided that that one isn't the one. I'm going to spend my time, the coming time right now, on the Model A pickup, the 29 Ford closed cab pickup. Again, you've seen that in the past, and you will see it more in the future. Anyway, so like I said, I spent the last 3 hours getting most of this stuff that you see here. It's, you know, it's tools, it's extra stuff. It's a lot of parts for the time machine. See all of that stuff? All tucked back there in the corner. It's all the front clip sheet metal. Up on top there, back in the corner. The trunk is standing up there on its side. The hood, you can just see the tip of it right here. The hood is against the wall, standing up here behind all this stuff. That's the seat. The front seat. Back seats at my house. So, like I said, a lot of the 57, a lot of the time machine is here in pieces. You see there's bumpers and extra bumpers and trim pieces galore. Scott has had 3 bodies to this point, 57 Chevy bodies. So he's got a lot of spare parts. So anyway, a lot of it is in those boxes, and a lot of it is loose there on the shelves. Like I said, there's more up here. You see this fender up here. There's lots of trim and some interior pieces, door panels, you know, kick panels, that kind of stuff up there laying flat. Anyway, watch for more to come on, like I say, Saturday. The car's getting moved here, and I'll do some video on that too later. Well, it looks like our package has arrived. Such as it is. See you later. I'm gonna go turn around, so he got a better shot at backing in the driveway. Okay. Well, it is now 6:10 p.m. Been here since, when did I get here? 10 o'clock, I think, roughly. And there she is. Actually, looks a little better than when she got here because we gave her a bath. I think it's been, wow. Since I've owned it, I don't think it's had a bath. And that was 1985, roughly. So, I think it was due. Anyway, I have to say she looks better. She looks better. It doesn't look good yet, but looks better. Kind of looks like she had a bath. Okay, so that's where we're at. End of the day today. I'm gathering up, I'm leaving, I'm gonna go home. Crash. Later.